struck him out.
2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. This is one back. Walk him off. Chris Taylor.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Scott Geirman, senior writer, Dodger Blue. Here with my good buddy Blake Williams, managing editor. He was a busy guy today, out at the fields, at that scrimmage. How we doing, buddy?
Tired, but it was hot out. But I'm ready for playoff baseball. Got to watch the Mets with their comeback victory, so that was pretty cool to see. Big, exciting game there. So, yeah, ready for the Dodgers to come up here on Saturday.
Yeah, we're getting real close here. Let me turn myself down in my ears. We're getting real close here, guys, to the Dodgers and the Padres squaring off here yet again. A couple years removed from that last series here. Brewers, Mets finish up tonight. Pete Alonso with that massive go-ahead 3-run homer there off of Devin Williams. He just did not have it today. You caught the back end of that game at all, or were you still driving?
I watched the back end. Me and Matt went out to eat, so they had it on there, and yeah.
Thoughts on that? For me, I've seen this baseball. I know that there's 3 series ended in sweeps here, but this has been just good baseball across the board for me. I feel like there's been solid, exciting moments for sure throughout. In the Orioles and the Royals series, there wasn't much of anything, but this Brewers Mets series was just terrific.
Yeah, I thought it kind of symbolized postseason baseball. I think 99 out of 100 times you'd take the Brewers bullpen in a situation like that, but it ended up being the Mets bullpen that got it done. And the Brewers bullpen, which has been fantastic all year, was the one that blew the game for them. So just funny, Jose Quintana is not the typical ace, but he went out there and threw 6 shutout innings or something like that. So playoff baseball, you never know what you're going to get. And it was a fun game.
Free swinging stuff there, not a hard thrower, just, soft tossing guy. He's able to dot. Changeup was absolutely working. And then all roads lead to Devin Williams there for the Brewers. It looks like, after the homers from Frelick, or I think it was Frelick and Jake Bauers. I think it was those two there. Right to Devin Williams. And I was texting my buddy, Brewers friend, and it felt like, not that it's in the bag, but it felt like this is Freddie Peralta comes in, gets the job done there in the 8th, turn it over to Devin Williams. And what he's done all year, lock it down. He's just not able to do it from pitch one. You could see his changeup just wasn't there. He wasn't locating, and it just went south in a hurry. I saw the first hanger he threw to Pete Alonso. I sat back, and then, later in the AB puts him ahead, and that's it. That's ball game there. But all schedule set. Series are done. In the American League, you're going to have the Tigers and the Guardians, Royals and the Yankees. National League side, you've got New York Mets, Philadelphia Phillies, Dodgers and Padres. Dodgers and Padres. Pretty good group. Any thoughts as the postseason as a whole here? It's kind of played out and how you thought, or any surprises mostly?
I don't think there's been any major surprises thus far. Mm-hmm. I think I was 3 for 4 in my wild card predictions there. I got the Astros Tigers one wrong. I think the NL side, when you're looking at it right now, is way more stacked than the American League side. Tigers Guardians, I feel like is going to be kind of a boring series with a lot of 1-0, 2-1 type ball games there. While NL side, it seems like it's set up for a lot of more slugfest. So I think that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But the NL is definitely a much stronger bracket right now than the AL side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we've been saying that the entire year. Credit to all the teams in the American League side for progressing through the wild card round there. America's Tigers kind of doing their thing. So we're on that train too. But from what we've been, you say what?
No more Tigers need to lose now.
Tigers need to lose now?
Because they have AJ Hinch. So
okay,
we're rooting for the loss there.
All right. Wet blanket. Anyways, this dude, shout out to the 600. We appreciate you all coming in, joining us for this Thursday. We're in this lull period, guys. We're in this layoff period that, as people in our position, the Dodgers, we're sitting around waiting for more baseball to happen. Wild card rounds are all done, completely over with. There was one game today on kind of encompasses some of the issues that I have with the postseason format, that you can win a division, you can blow it out, you can just run away with it, and your season can be over in 2 games, 3 games. I've got an issue with it. It's a topic we'll talk about at another time, but I was hoping for a little bit more baseball today. Quick thoughts, and then we're going to get into the biggest news of the day. Anything about the current postseason format that you kind of have an issue with?
For me, the main thing is not reseeding after the wild card round. I think the Dodgers should be matched up against the Mets, and the Padres and Phillies should be playing. Kind of incentivizes teams to go for the number one seed more. We're never going back to less teams in the postseason, so it kind of is what it is at this point. I did like it more when it was a one-game wild card. I thought that was a lot of fun and exciting, and then there's not a huge layoff like the Dodgers are dealing with right now, so those are my two biggest issues. I think one of them is fixable and one of them's not fixable. So it's kind of how I see it today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, BC's got it. I think, DS should be 7 games. Wild card should be 5 minimum. I agree.
That makes it tough though. The Dodgers would be off for like a week and a half.
They've just got to figure out how. They just got to have to figure out how to make it. So in an era where they want more teams, they want more postseason, where postseason baseball or postseason sports is king. To have all these teams who made it through. Playing in a league where you play the most regular season games, where it can be over in 2 games for those teams that took care of business the whole time, is really tough. Like, I think that they could do it. They should do it. BC says 1 game is terrible. I know it was fun, but I still would harp on that. Those DS rounds need to be 7 games. I really do. You need to get your stars out there. You need to be able to extend these series. You need to find a way to make them 7 games. That would be the next thing for me. If they have an issue with it going into November, start the season a little bit earlier.
Oh, felt like I was going to sneeze there. Yeah. It's just hard to do that unless you're completely changing wild card round. And then, like I said, that's going to push you into having a week and a half off for the bye teams unless they're also playing in the wild card, and then you're not really incentivizing those teams to go for the number 1 seed. Like, what's the point if you still have to go play? I don't know what the answer is. I think maybe 1 wild card team, like it used to be, straight to the NLDS for that team playing the number 1 seed makes sense. You would still have still have a Padres Dodgers NLDS at this point, but that's kind of how it works out sometimes. I don't really know what the correct answer is here, or if there is one, since they've changed the format. Add more teams and go wild card. That sounds awful also, so I don't know.
Yeah. Matty, man, we're not making excuses. We're just chopping it up prior to getting to our big time topics here. This is Blake and I. This is our space. This is where we hop on here, and we kind of have something in mind for myself, something that postseason wise, looking around, not even at the Dodgers, I'm not even on my mind with it. It's looking around at other teams. The Astros won their division, season's over in 2 games, whatever you feel about them. It's just it's the principle of it all. It's, the low seed coming in there, stumbling their way in, the Royals, the Orioles, stuff like that, guys. Like, I think it's a conversation for a different time for sure, but something that's been on my mind. But the biggest news of the day, and as always, guys, take a second, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. Do us a big favor there. Any super chats, we'll get to those in just a second. If you have something on your mind, toss it in. But the Dodgers swap their rotation for the National League Division Series. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was originally scheduled to go game 2. Dodgers general manager Brandon Gomes, Dave Roberts, named Jack Flaherty as the expected game 1 starter. But he has been moved to the second game. Yamamoto will now be going in game 1 here. Implications, reasons, thoughts on this, Blake?
Yeah, to me, it was a little bit of a surprise because when I was mapping it out, I thought it made sense with Yamamoto lining up for game 1 of the NLCS if they make it there. And then that also lines them up for 1 down the line. Their answer for why they did that was it was about planning for a game 5. It seems like Yamamoto could be an option to go game 5 as well as Jack Flaherty if they need that to come up. So they said it was about flexibility, which is what the Dodgers always say things are about. I think another important thing was they also said they don't know yet if they're going to keep Yamamoto on his once-a-week schedule. So that could be something that ends up changing. So it seems like they're kind of trending toward using Yamamoto a little bit more than they were previously thinking, which for the team is probably a good thing. You just have to hope his injury is completely past him and he stays healthy and it doesn't affect him in the long term.
Yeah, it keeps him on schedule here. This is something that, Chad, if you followed along, we talked about this, I think a couple weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, hypothesizing about the possible rotation for a DS series or the first round. And I was saying I liked it going with Yamamoto in game one for the fact that it opens up, keeps him on a rest schedule. It opens him up to start a potential series and the next time around without having to stretch him or having to cram him into a shortened start or thinking about it. It opens up the possibility that he can do it in a potential game five or be utilized there. But I think that putting him at game one opens him up to be able to use in a game five. And if they don't need it, if not necessary, then you look ahead and he's on schedule to go to the start of the next round here. I just think for his rest schedule, it worked out really well. And how it's lining up here, he's all on track. As you know, from what you've seen from Yamamoto, his longest outing since he's been back is 5 innings. Faced Colorado twice. You're good with this move, right?
Yeah, I have complete confidence in Yamamoto. I think I commented on the last live show. I think it was Matt and Jeff on it. I said Yamamoto is going to have a sub-3 ERA in this postseason. I am very confident in him stepping up. He's shown it in the past. He's pitched in big games before. Like, he is your guy. He's the guy you went out and signed to be your ace.
Yep.
Complete faith in him.
Stuffs look great. As far as like his usage, his cutter's been up a bit. That might be, game to game. We'll see how the game planning there goes. But the Padres haven't seen him since the beginning of the year. They saw him in Korea back on March 21st, and then they saw him again at Dodger Stadium on April 12th. Since then, the Padres haven't had a look at him. He didn't face them on this most recent 3-game trip or this series at home. How much of advantage is that for him? Do you think now, like with maybe some different usage, some scouting, some refined things, that plays into Yamamoto's hand here for a Padres team in a lineup that has a lot of veteran guys, but they haven't had a chance to look at him yet?
Maybe a little. I think with the scouting that every team has now and like the traject pitching machine that can
it's good enough
pretty much copy any pitcher in baseball. Let's say you can get a look at them. Like there's ways around that stuff. I think there might be some to it. Like maybe it takes them a few innings to adjust, things like that, but nothing too major where I see it like affecting the outcome of the game. And for what it's worth, Andrew Friedman said that kind of thing didn't play into their decision at all. So that's just kind of like a benefit.
Yeah. I think it matters. I think familiarity with arms matters. I think he'll be stretched out some more. The most pitches he's thrown since coming back was on the 22nd in Dodger Stadium against Colorado through 79 pitches here. The most strikeouts he has since then was September 10th against the Cubs. He had 8. Home start again. So he's back in Dodger Stadium here. He was going to get one of those starts in LA. I have full confidence in Yamamoto to go out there and set the tone. I really do. He's a low heartbeat guy. His emotion comes out in those big moments, but he's done it a couple times this season when you've needed someone to go out there. Everybody can pinpoint right back to the start in New York. It felt like that was the series that for the time, it felt like a big game environment. It felt like a spot where he had to step up. You just needed it. And he took care of business there. Do you have any early predictions for what you're going to see? I don't need a perfect stat line here, but just tell me, like, he's going to be able to rise up to that moment. He's going to be able to take on that game one start, and that contract is going to be worth the while.
Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in him doing that. Like, I think he'll go 6 innings, 5 at the minimum. I think he'll give a quality start there, whether that's like 3 runs or less.
Sure.
Not sure about like the strikeout totals or anything like that. If he keeps the walks down, he should be fine, which is something he usually tends to do well. So I have a lot of faith in him. I think the Dodgers in general have a lot of faith in him. That's why they paid him so much money to come be their ace for the next 10 plus years. Like, this is the time. You have Ohtani in his prime. You have Mookie in his prime. You have Freddie playing really well still. Like, you signed Yamamoto to be the ace. Let him go be your ace.
Yeah. I see people in there, everyone's, a lot of co-signing what we're talking about and a lot of faith in Yamamoto. Crowd's got to be in it. We see that where we understand it here. People saying he needs a quality start for sure. I think a lot of it is just keeping him in the game. And he's able to do much more than that. He's able to take over a game. He's got stuff to be able to do it. His splitter's disgusting. His fastball, people complain about him throwing it in the heart of the zone. Why does he throw it up? Like, he works off of tunneling. He works off of planes. He works off of, the metrics that he's got. I believe, fully. And what Blake always checks me on in the Dodgers pitching department, I believe that they're going to have a game plan that works well for him. And hopefully he can limit the damage. The biggest thing, I think, is just what we've talked about, going out, provide the offense with enough time to really get their rhythm because of this layoff. You can't have what happened again last year to really happen at all. You need to get out, hit the ground running, keep them in there. I think for me, Blake, I've had a couple conversations with some friends in chat. You might co-sign this a bunch. The importance of going out and having a 0 in the top of the first will just matter so much for the psyche. I think for fans, I think for Yamamoto, the Dodgers, especially in the offense, to go out there and be able to have a 0 in the top of the first and say, okay, let's settle in here. Let's go out and strike first. And I think that's just so important. That might just be me. But from what has happened a lot, like last year, I think putting up a 0 and being able to look at that scoreboard, that, okay, it's still an even playing field here after 1 in our home ballpark, I think matters so much.
I agree. I think if it's like 1 run, you can live with that. You got Ohtani coming up and Mookie and Freddie and everyone else in their lineup. We know they're going to be able to score runs. We're confident they're going to be able to score runs. I can't say we know because we've seen the past postseasons as well.
For sure.
But as long as it's not like last year where they're down 6-0 before they even get the bat in their hands, I'm going to feel more confident. I like the lineup a lot more. I like the pitching staff in general a lot more. Their bullpen is fantastic. Like, this is a team that can win. They're built to win, and their starting pitching just has to give them the opportunity to do that. So as long as they're not giving up 5-6 runs in a game, I think the Dodgers are going to be in a really good spot.
Yeah. And I think Musgrove's down. No updates. I haven't seen anything on him yet. We're going to promise not to turn this into an NLDS preview here, because we're going to save that for a longer, box of time, but it's worth having a conversation that the offense, we have all seen it. If given enough opportunities, somebody's going to make it happen. Somebody's going to have a big swing. I've pulled up, one of my favorite charts recently is the Dodgers since August 1st. And their stats with runners in scoring position here, we're talking about Ohtani, Teoscar, Mookie, Miguel Rojas, Max Muncy, like guys hitting at an unbelievable clip with runners in scoring position. I know it's a regular season, but it's talking about that barometer and playing against the Padres and how their rotation lined up perfectly for that series to be able to say, if anybody's going to carry it, the starting rotation is going to be able to give them a shot to perhaps take the division. Dodgers take 2 of 3. It's the second time that's happened. Earlier, it happened with the Diamondbacks. Their rotation lined up. Dodgers take 3 of 4. So this is a professional lineup. They're going to make pitchers work. You can't allow Michael King to really settle in there. What's the starting rotation outlook for the Padres in game 1, game 2? Do you have that off top? Is it going to be Michael King here?
Don't have that off the top of my head. It probably won't be King because he just pitched.
Yeah. So
so they have Cease game 1.
Perfect.
And then game 2 is Darvish.
Okay. So I think that it's just same thing, guys. With Dylan Cease, you Darvish, you have to be able to make him work early. And the stuff we've seen, you're going to need to have that one swing. If you get somebody on with runners in scoring position early, they've got to come through. I think it's imperative. Do not allow them, the Padres, to get that breath. Do not allow them to get into a position where it's like Dodgers can answer here, and then they get out of it and get that breath. I need them to keep the foot on the gas there. I would love it if it, perfect dream scenario for sure. But the start that the Dodgers had in 2017 against Taijuan Walker, Justin Turner puts one on into the seats in left field. That's the type of swing where it felt like that's a punch. That's your first punch. It's going to be a heavyweight fight. I need the Dodgers to have the first strike. Can't happen again. Too many things stacked against them from years past. This is me speaking as a fan. I know we're a lot of time, but it's from what we've seen. That's where I got to have it. And that's where I need Yamamoto to be able to take a breath. Go out there, see a 0 offense coming back up and to have something happen for him. I need both. I need the offense. I need the pitching to work with each other here. It can't be a tidal wave, one or the other.
I mean, I think this is an offense that could kind of tidal wave their way to a championship. So ideally you want them both working together. And I think to win a championship, I think you need 2 of your 3 pieces working well, whether it's the rotation in the lineup in the bullpen, your entire pitching staff with the bullpen and the rotation. If you have 2 of those things clicking, you're going to be better than most teams on pretty much every night. And I'm pretty confident the Dodgers lineup and bullpen is going to be able to step up and be those guys for them. Yeah. So if they get quality pitching at all, like that increases my confidence in the team a ton. But it still comes down to performance. We can put out all the stats. We can lay out all the numbers about why the Dodgers are great, why they're set up to win. And then it just sometimes doesn't work out on the field. We've seen that a ton. So they just need to play the quality of baseball they're capable of playing.
Yeah. And to the Padres, they did a majority of their damage early in games. And if they tacked on a run later on, then that's what they did. But the majority of their damage, they won game 1, 4-0. They won game 2, 5-4. And majority of their damage came early on. You have to withstand that early push that, they're going to be swinging. Fernando Tatis, they've got guys going up there, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado for sure. So I need to see Yoshinobu, Yamamoto have some stuff, whatever's feeling best out of the bullpen right away. If you like in pregame, if that's what's working, go out there, hammer that in, make that your first inning strike, get out of that. And then from there you roll, settle in, see how many times you can go through. With Jack Flaherty, there's been some, conversations about how good has he looked, what's been going on lately. He's been victim of some very long innings. Unable to get out of some spots here, giving up some home run balls. His last 2 outings, he's given up 3 combined, 6 earned runs in 11 innings. Any concerns with him game 2? Are you all right? So if the fact the Dodgers get it, say, God forbid, 0-1 hole, you've got Jack Flaherty game 2 to keep you right there. Confidence level with him. What are your concerns? And overall, tell me, what are you going to be looking out for from Jack Flaherty?
A lot there. I think my
just tell me your last thing, buddy.
Which one was that?
What are you looking out for? What are you looking out for?
The fastball velocity to bounce back. I think that's kind of the main thing there. Andrew Friedman addressed that today. He said it was due to some mechanical things that he fell out of line with, and they've been working on it with their strength coaches and their pitching coaches to try and figure it out. We've seen his velocity kind of fluctuate a lot, and he's still been effective during that time, but I think it takes him from like a really good number 3 to a legit ace if his velocity is there and the stuff is ticked up to where it can be. So I think that is important for him. If he doesn't have that, I still feel confident in him to pitch a quality game because he's shown he can do that as well. I just don't think we're going to see like that dominant game where they traded for him and you're expecting him to be a number 1 for your team, like the 1B to the 1A type pitcher. So if his velocity is back in place where it has been throughout most of the year, then I'm really confident in him. If it's not there, then it's going to drop a bit, but I still have like faith that he can get it done.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if they notice something, mechanically, with his delivery there and it's affected his velocity, no injury concerns though?
No.
Nothing
I don't think there's anything there.
Yeah.
They haven't said anything about it. Flaherty hasn't said anything about it. We knew he had the back issue when they traded for him, but that seems to be very much in the past. And he pitched through that with the Tigers as well. So I know there's a lot of concern about injury stuff, but I don't see any real reason to actually make that assumption yet.
Yeah, so he goes in his very last start. He pitched against the Padres guys, so they've seen him. There's familiarity there. You're going to see perhaps you're for sure going to see a different plan of attack. You're going to see some different stuff. Perhaps they held back on some things because it just happens. Gamesmanship works that way. He goes 5, allows 3 earned runs, gives up a solo shot, but walks 3. And walks have been a concern. And I think with that coming out, I think of how much can be attributed for a lot of his problems just to those mechanical errors.
Probably a good amount because walks tend to trend up when you aren't with your right mechanics.
but he's able to go. Point a lot of this stuff is that he's able to go in his last 2 outings. So he goes 6 in Miami against the Marlins. He's able to go 5 against the Padres. What does that say for him? What does that say about Jack Flaherty and his ability to just pitch through some things?
I do think he's really good at that. I think he has enough secondary pitches that he can help him get through those innings and pitch when he doesn't have his primary offerings locked in. I think that is what has helped make him a really good pitcher. When he was with the Cardinals, he was that same type of pitcher, and then he started dealing with the injury stuff and kind of regressed a bit, but then he got back on track, got healthy again, and found his footing again, and he's been back to that same like ace level form when he was with the Cardinals. So now I think with the Dodgers, it's more about just making some of the adjustments, and hopefully he can make those before his actual playoff start.
Absolutely. So with the flip of the rotation, just to recap here, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is now the Dodgers game 1 starter against Dylan Cease of the San Diego Padres, and Jack Flaherty is going game 2 here against Yu Darvish of the Padres. We got a couple super chats here. I'm going to toss this one up first. Ivan says, he says, worried teams will pitch around Ohtani given Mookie's postseason struggles. When is it too late to make a move in a 5-game series lineup order-wise? I don't foresee this being a factor. I don't think they're going to make any changes like that because in those first 2 games, I believe like the lineup just going straight down is going to be Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy, Will Smith, Tommy Edman, Rojas, and Lux. Like, I don't think it's going to deviate much from that. Like, I don't think that the worry about pitching around Ohtani is going to change absolutely anything.
Yeah, I don't think other teams are actually game planning for Mookie Betts' struggles in the postseason in the past. They're not looking at him as the guy they can target. They know what Mookie's capable of, and they don't want to get beat by him either, just like they don't want to get beat by Ohtani. Yeah. And even if you're saying that Mookie is going to be an out every time he comes up, which he probably won't be, you're still putting Ohtani on, who we've seen this year has been basically a free extra base after he gets on first, for Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy, Will Smith. Like, it's a really deep lineup, and I don't think teams are going to pitch around Ohtani for that factor because there's just so many guys there. And as Dodger fans, we do tend to overinflate Mookie's past postseason issues, which, to be fair, they are there, but other teams aren't looking at it like that. They're still saying Mookie Betts is a really good player, and we need to be careful with him, just like we need to be careful with Ohtani.
Hallelujah says we didn't answer the question. So when is it too late to make a move in a 5-game series lineup order-wise? I mean, you could make it like...
I mean, Dave Roberts made their first change in Game 3 last year, putting in Kiké Hernandez. I think it was over David Peralta at that point. I don't see them making many major changes with this lineup.
It's no need. They don't have those type of pieces. Those big platoon guys that are like a huge worry aren't a factor right now, right?
Yeah, like, what change realistically are you going to make? You're not going to bench Mookie. You're not going to bench, depending on health, you're not going to bench Freddie Freeman. You're not putting in Austin Barnes over Will Smith. Like, maybe Kiké sneaks into a game, but the Padres don't have a lefty starting pitcher, so they're not going to bench Muncy for Kiké at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really see any spots on the lineup that you can easily take out and say, yeah, this bench guy is definitely an upgrade over what we have.
I think it might be, Matty Man brings it up. I think the conversation with Lux might be a thing. Like, that's definitely a conversation to have. But I think they're reserving Kiké's role for more in those lefty scenarios here, correct? Like, they're going to kind of strictly keep him against lefties to keep that flow. But I think if there's anyone, that would be a spot where I would be more inclined to focus on it. If it's to, put someone else there, I think it would be swapping Gavin Lux out anywhere. But I think they're just going to ride with it. I don't foresee them making those big changes. So, Ivan, thanks for the question. Appreciate you guys a ton. All right. 300 says, I like our chances. Our hitters must show up and get a lead late into the game. Break it down.
They can get a lead at any point in the game for me and take that. Like, I feel like the pitching staff is in a good enough place where if they get a lead, they're going to be able to hold it more often than not, whether that is with their bullpen or if they get a strong start from Flaherty or Yamamoto, or even Walker Buehler looked good his last time out. So yeah, I think a lot of this is based on the hitters actually showing up this year. I think that's been their biggest problem in the past years. I know last year the pitching was also a mess and the hitters didn't show up at all. I don't think that's going to happen 2 years in a row. And I think the pitching staff just in general is a much better spot. I think the lineup is far deeper than it was last year. You've essentially replaced David Peralta with Teoscar Hernandez, JD Martinez with Shohei Ohtani.
I love this
James
one. You did this
with
the other
Tommy
day, and
Edman.
you said this the other day. It left my jaw on the floor. I love this one. You just like all the swaps, man. Like you laid them out perfectly. Like I took away from that show, that live, saying like the upgrades that they made across the board, having the iffy positions there. Like, can this veteran come through? Like, is he just going to continue this resurgence that dropped off for like David Peralta fairly early? And now it's like you replace it just like you said. Teoscar Hernandez. Who else?
Tommy Edman in center instead of James Outman.
Yep.
Who was playing second base last year? Wasn't it like Chris Taylor and Kiké? And I don't think they had a primary guy last year, unless I'm forgetting someone. So getting Lux in there. Yeah, like getting Lux in there versus righties and Kiké in there versus lefties, huge upgrade. Like it's a better team right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Ederico, we'll talk. We've got some updates here about like Freddie Freeman and Miguel Rojas, but I saw somebody bring it up in chat about Kiké Hernandez. And what's terrific about him is he's such a funny conversation because early on he was horrific. He was just bad. He was lost. And now he's looking like he's barreling every single thing up. He's found that platoon stuff. Before he had reverse splits. He was hitting off right-handed pitching. And then you could kind of see the role develop. They're like, you're going to face lefties. He's keyed in on that. Glasses Kiké became a real thing. And now he's doing terrific. But he's a career 900, basically 900 OPS guy in the postseason. We're talking about someone who has done it not only with the Dodgers, but his time with the Boston Red Sox in 2021 was one of the most fun postseason runs I've ever seen. He has a 1260 OPS in the postseason. He hit over 400. So he's done this year in, year out. Anytime he's in the postseason outside of 2018, Kiké Hernandez has just been, that guy. Do you think that if he continues to do that, this is long-term stuff? I know the swaps for like Gavin Lux, that's kind of the only place, barring anything with Freddie Freeman, is Kiké Hernandez like one of those candidates that he could get, playing time every single day, every game?
Possibly. I think his best bet would be to move around. Like maybe they give Miguel Rojas a day off and move Tommy Edman into shortstop, and then Kiké goes to center. Or maybe they give Max Muncy a day versus a lefty and you put in Kiké, or Gavin Lux a day versus a lefty, you put in Kiké. Maybe Freddie Freeman, depending on his ankle, if he needs some time or like come out of the game early, you can put in Kiké there. I think his best role isn't going to be at one position. It's going to be playing multiple positions and finding his way to affect the game in different areas on the field. And real quick, Ederico pointed out it was Mookie at second last year with Hayward in right field. So you're upgrading Hayward to, I guess, Gavin Lux essentially this year, which probably still an upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I really want to get to this because it's a pressing thing. It's kind of had me worried about what they're going to do. I know we saw some photos of Max Muncy at first base today. The big one. So you were there today. Walk me through kind of the vibe with that, what you saw with Miguel Rojas, what you saw with Freddie Freeman, and kind of the current status of Miguel Rojas's adductor injury here, Freddie Freeman's ankle. Where would you like to start? Freddie Freeman, I think, is the most pressing one. So let myself, let chat know what's kind of the latest with Freddie, man.
Yeah, so I'll start with what Andrew Friedman said about him. He said every day's gotten better. Today's a big test for him because every time you talk to Freddie Freeman about it, he says, I'm good, I'll be good. Friedman said it was a real sprain, so it's taken time, but each day has gotten better. He was taking swings today. He didn't run. He didn't field. He was just in a DH role and didn't run when he even put the ball in play. So it's still like a wait and see kind of thing, but Freddie keeps saying he's going to be in there. The Dodgers keep saying he's going to be in there. I don't see Freddie sitting out, even if he has pain. I think he's the type of player who would play through that. So I fully expect him to be in there. Whether it's an issue or not and affecting his play remains to be seen, but I'm pretty confident Freeman will be in the lineup.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think chat would agree. Let me know real quick there, just so I can kind of take a little poll. Let me know. Do you think that Freddie Freeman, if he can even give it a go, do you think Freddie Freeman's going to, at this point of his career, with kind of how he's done, do you think Freddie Freeman's going to play through injury? Like he's going to play through just something that's a pain tolerance type of thing? Because even with like a grade 1 sprain, you're looking at multiple weeks here. And I'm 31. And I know if I hurt my ankle, I'm down for the count, man. Like I'm feeling that thing. I hurt my shoulder. I was done for months. I couldn't lift correctly, anything. So I think Freddie Freeman, it'll be hard because that was a really tough injury to look at. But I think, just like I see everybody saying, if he's able to give it a go, he's going to give it a go, because on a team like this where Shohei Ohtani's the best DH perhaps the game has ever seen, you're not moving him anywhere. If you're Freddie, you want to be in the lineup, you're playing first base, man. You're playing first base. You're not playing third like you did with the Braves years and years ago, but you've got to play first base, man.
I don't know. If Ohtani could throw, I think he'd be the best defensive outfielder in baseball. He's that kind of talent.
Athleticism stuff. So to wrap up on Freddie, I mean, we could even keep going, like the positional replacements there. Who were like 1A, 1B possibilities?
Yeah, so Max Muncy was working out at first base today. He is the plan B if Freddie can't go.
How'd he look?
Fine. We'll get into the practice stuff later, and you can see why I'm just saying, like, fine. Kiké Hernandez was at third base. That was the plan there. If Freddie's not able to go, Dave Roberts said Muncy would play first, Kiké would play third. And also another thing Andrew Friedman said was, even if Freddie Freeman isn't starting, he's going to be on the roster. So maybe he's a pinch hitter for them for the first game and comes back the next one or something like that. Worst case scenario, it seems like at this point. But all indications are Freeman's going to be starting. So just kind of a wait and see still at this point.
Yeah. Not much time. But like people are saying, he'll be in the lineup. Freddie will find a way to make it happen there. I don't know, the mobility wise, let's just hope that Freddie Freeman connects. It's going to be a clean base hit. If there's a ball into the gap, he's able to, trot to second base. In best case scenario, he's putting some over the fence. I don't think for sure, he's got some sneaky ability to steal some bases. I don't think we'll be seeing that. Going first to home, I don't think we'll be seeing that. First to third, different story here, but it's going to need to be, Dino Ebel will have to be on his absolute A game. And I think that's why, the next however long, like less than 48 hours here, it's going to be very critical to seeing like how much he's going to be able to push it. Miguel Rojas, Miguel Rojas is someone who has been one of the Dodgers' best players with runners in scoring position. And that's just been a big thing for me. Since August 1st, he's batting almost 400, like 380 with runners in scoring position. Good sample size here. So he's a key player. We know what he's bringing defensively, even when the bat might not be there sometimes. What's going on with Miggy Rowe, man?
Yeah, so Andrew Friedman said Miggy Rowe looks good. I think the time off has really helped him. He's been dealing with it on and off for a couple of weeks now. I think getting this time off is really going to help. Each day has gotten progressively better. We feel really good about it. And from the eye test, me and Matt were out there watching him. He looked really good. He was moving well. Didn't see any indication that he was dealing with anything. So Rojas has played well for the last few weeks dealing with it. So I think it's just something he's going to continue to deal with. He, of course, needs off-season surgery on it, but he's going to keep pushing through it, and didn't seem like it slowed him down or anything. He probably looked like the most athletic player on the field today.
No way.
I'm not kidding about that.
No way.
Like I said,
chill out, because that might say a lot about the practice. That might say a lot.
We'll get into the practice, but yes,
Blake's the ultimate tease here. If we had commercial breaks, it'd be like, coming up after the break, Blake Williams is going to break down the practice schedule for Los Angeles Dodgers here in the sim game. Like, ultimate tease, Blake. All right.
I do see this in the chat real quick. Pajes or Outman? It's going to be Pajes. Outman is just around for taxi squad stuff. Like, Pajes is already going to be on the roster. Dave Roberts confirmed that.
I want James Outman nowhere near this roster. I don't need the bright lights vibes. I can't have that. Nope. No way.
Now a word from our sponsor.
Outhouse. Donuts. Big Zero. Yeah, Roostery says Blake knows how to sell a teaser. For sure he does. He's been saying that for the last 10 minutes. We'll get into it. Like, God forbid. man. All right.
Let's get into
Ready for
it. Well, wait, we have one super chat we didn't
Okay,
get
cool.
to.
All right. Ozzy says the ERA of the Padres bullpen has been bad too. They've been worked. They've for sure been worked, like a bit. Like they've had to use, their high leverage guys here, and it's the same stuff like we saw against the Dodgers. The Braves got to them a tiny bit in game 2. You got to see the warts of the bullpen of usage where professional hitters, like guys coming in there, they're not on their A game, guys get banged. Just how it goes. You got to see it against the Dodgers. Tanner Scott, pitchers that have been locked down for the Padres, that bullpen AJ Preller put together, you got to see it. And I think that's a product of, 1, professional hitters, 2, scouting, 3, you hang it, they bang it. And not much else to say about it, but for sure, like they have been getting hit quite a bit out there.
Yeah, the Padres bullpen's still good.
Still great.
But not like it happens. Bad games happen. I think it was more one bad pitch and then a small sample size has kind of affected them a lot. So I don't think they're like a bad bullpen or anything by that.
Nope. You do that. You think they're a bad bullpen and they come in and they shove and you're like, what happened? So don't be surprised. Like Suarez has found a way to lock it back in here. He's shut some games down. So that's kind of just how it's been. We got a couple more here. Daniel just sends us $1. I appreciate you, man. Blake and I, we both do. Anything else? Any question? Toss it in there. We'll get right back to it. Orlando, real fast. He says Kyle Hurt on the taxi squad saw some moves today. Anything, Blake? Is he out the stadium?
Kyle Hurt is out for the year. He underwent Tommy John surgery. The transaction was more of just like the roster move stuff. The regular season ended, so technically every player on the 40-man roster becomes like active per se, and then they have to reset their playoff roster and announce that to reset that. So he was just already on the 40-man. It was just a procedural move, and he's out for the year. He's not pitching.
Was there any player at the stadium today that you were surprised to see, or just kind of all the regular guys?
Not really surprised. It was kind of everyone who was expected. Fiducia was there. Outman was there. Outman was on the roster at the end of the season, though, so I guess that's a little different. He probably still would have been there regardless. Bobby Miller and Tony Gonsolin were there. Michael Grove, Justin Robleski. Didn't see Kasperius, but I'm sure he was probably there. They bring up all the guys for the taxi squad and to participate in the sim games that they were having. They didn't want to throw Yamamoto and Flaherty versus the Dodgers today, so they had Gonsolin and Miller come pitch because they're not going to be on the playoff roster. So it's just a lot of like emergency options. The stay ready group, a few of them are going to travel with the team in case they need an injury replacement, just like the normal kind of stuff there. Nothing too surprising. I guess Dalton Rushing being there was a little surprising. So.
Man, chat, you guys are really funny tonight. You're hammering all my narratives here, and I'm starring every single one of them. All right, this is a spot, and this is something that where I really want to get your firsthand perspective here on it. We're just going to toss it right in, take it wherever you want. Shout out to the 1700 in here. We appreciate you a ton in this ramp up leading up to the National League Division Series between the Dodgers and the Padres here. Everybody on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, thank you so much for joining in. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this thing around. If you got a question, toss it in here. We'll keep that, save it to the end of the show. But Blake, how was the workout? How was the scrimmage? It's time. We're back from commercial break. Let it loose. What did you see? And don't be, just whatever you saw, what you like, what you didn't like. Floor is yours.
So do you remember last year how the Dodgers said they were going to increase the intensity of their workouts, do more like situational drills? They invited the fans in to have some more atmosphere there. And they were like, yeah, this year we're increasing the intensity even more. It's going to be great. It was a flat practice. I didn't see much of anything that was like simulated intensity. And to be fair, I know intensity in playoff baseball is basically impossible to simulate in those, but it seemed more like a high school kind of walkthrough practice than anything major. I just didn't see much there that was inspiring of confidence. Mookie Betts wasn't playing. He was in his shorts and a t-shirt. It was, no one was really running the bases or anything. They had coaches playing in the outfield and running the bases instead of players. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It seemed like a letdown considering all the stuff they were talking about. And I know a lot of the players are probably in the cages doing their work off the Pitrex machine and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't have the feel of a real practice. Like, they were jogging the bases to start with and doing their stretches. They're doing PFPs tomorrow, I heard, which is going to be another kind of light thing.
Yeah.
I just didn't see a whole lot of inspiring practice out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you said, it's hard to simulate that environment, but not very encouraging stuff. I mean, maybe it's things that the media won't see. I know you guys, like the media, you had to head out a little bit early. And I know we hope, again, the same thing. We hope that a lot of those things came behind the scenes and they've, worked on some stuff there. But yeah, people saying you're breaking your heart. How much did you expect? What did you expect? What going into it, what did you expect to be seeing?
I thought they would take it a little more serious, like not coaches in the outfield. I thought Mookie would be out there practicing with the team. I know there was one play where they were like turning a double play on a ball hit and Rojas tossed it like an eephus pitch over to first base kind of thing. Like, I just don't feel like that's practice or inspiring confidence moving forward. Like, practice like you want to play, and it just didn't seem like they were that into it. Like, Danny Lehman, the bench coach, was in right field. Kiké was at third base, kind of like yelling at him jokingly. I don't know. It was just a whole lot of nothing. It was very flat and kind of dead. Yeah. I don't know.
Man, Chad, you guys waited all day to hear about this, so thanks for being here with me. This is the most I've heard about it. I had a busy day. Blake wouldn't tell me anything. He'd just say, I'll talk to you later. So this is a big thing for me. And like, again, guys, like this isn't doomsday. Like, don't take all this away and say, oh, they're not going to be ready to go. They're not doing anything. I mean, we'll see how they show up. We'll see how it is. And people are saying there's Padre fans watching in here. What up, guys? Well, thanks for joining in. I don't care if you join in. We appreciate you as always. Like, we're chopping it up about ball. If you've got anything to add, please do. Please do. Blake and I give credit to like what AJ Preller's done. So just, toss anything in. But I just want to know, how much did we expect to see from this? Like, how much did we expect to see from a simulated game? How much you really working on? And besides just going out there and staying loose, getting your reps, facing pitching, seeing spin, that type of stuff. Like, I know you can face all of that in the cages, in the machines, like the technology they have now, they can simulate nearly everything besides actually being out there. The environment you can't recreate. You can't putting, like 1,000 or 2,000 fans in the stands who are just going there to hang out and buy tall cans and watch, guys run around for a walkthrough. It's just different. It's just, you're not going to be able to recreate that. So temper your expectations, everybody, about what you were expecting to hear coming out of these things. I think it was more just to stay loose, camaraderie, and just get some reps somewhere.
I mean, to be fair, I think if the Padres did the same kind of workout, I'm not sure how much seriously different it would be from what the Dodgers did there. But I think the optics of it for the team, when leading up the entire week, they've been talking about how they're going to build intensity, how that's going to be their biggest focus, how important these practices are to get ready, and then to come out and like they weren't really hitting at all. It was Tony Gonsolin and Bobby Miller on the mound. There weren't many hits. The more rookie backup team that was playing ended up scoring more runs from what me and Matt saw. I don't know. I just wanted to see them like take it a little more seriously than they did. Maybe like it was.
Does that stem, real quick, just stay on that thing. Does that stem from what you've like the last few postseasons, or with the current team? Like, where does that thought sprout up? Does it have to do with Dave Roberts' recent comments, like Brandon Gomes, or does that just the thought in your mind is because of what's happened in prior postseason years? Like, please change something.
I think a little of both. I think the comments that Roberts and Gomes made about trying to increase the intensity and finding ways to create that, I think that was something where I expected a little more from them. I think last year's practice seemed a little more somewhat intense than this one was because they had the fans there. It was more of a like energetic atmosphere there. It was just really flat there today. Like, Mookie Betts was out there coaching Pajes in right field essentially while the other guys were hitting, and that's not something that's happening in a game. So why are you doing it at that point? Why are you having Clayton McCullough run the bases? Why is Danny Lehman playing right field because Mookie isn't suited up to play with the rest of the team? It's just a lot of weird stuff like that.
Okay. Are there going to be any more of these? Are they going to do the same thing tomorrow?
They have a workout scheduled tomorrow. The Padres also do, so they might not be able to go like as long and in depth as they did today. And they had a workout yesterday as well, so that was Wednesday, plus their optional one on Tuesday. But I just didn't see like a whole lot of inspiring confidence today.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it's just, something to keep an eye out for. Matty Man, I'll get your super chat in one sec, bro. I got you. Yeah, I just temper a little bit of expectations there. Hopefully it's different tomorrow. Are we going to give them credit at all and say there's a method to the madness, that there's, a method to what they're doing here, that today was more of a walkthrough and they're going to ramp it up, say tomorrow?
Maybe, but they don't have as much time tomorrow to ramp it up more.
Sure.
So like, you can't go through your stretches and play a game necessarily tomorrow and all the other workouts they did, because you have the limited time with the Padres coming in and getting the field for their part of the workout. Maybe they were more intense yesterday and they decided to lighten it up a bit today. But like the main thing, the bats look flat too. They were facing Bobby Miller and Tony Gonsolin. They didn't show much at all. So
gotcha.
I know I need to like take a step back and say like it is impossible to simulate the intensity and feel of a major league game, and especially the major league playoff game. It was just some of the more minor things that didn't sit well with me, like not throwing the ball hard to first base when you were fielding the grounder and turning the double play, or playing coaches around in the field. Just weird things like that doesn't seem like, it doesn't say like, hey, we're taking this seriously.
Okay.
Thing. It's just like weird optics to it.
For sure. I'm sure it looked from what we've seen about the intensity thing from Dave Roberts, for sure. Let's have it live up to those comments, is what I think fans, myself, you, people covering it, same thing. Everybody, hallelujah. Yeah. Hopefully the focus is there tomorrow. Hope they ramp it up. They feel it. They get into that stadium. And the switch flips, because they've got a 5-game series. They have the best record in baseball, and they've got a 5-game series to really hammer that in. Matty Man tosses in what Blake just said, scares me to death. They are flat. I think the Padres will come out flat. I don't. I mean, they've got a 2-day layoff here too. They just played a series there, had a celebration, getting through the wild card round, took care of business against the Atlanta Braves. 2-game layoff. So they just lost Musgrove. Stuff matters here. They've played 2 games of postseason baseball. They're in front of their home crowd. That stadium is right on top of you. I explained when I was on the show of like a couple weeks ago with Jeff and Anthony chat. You'll remember that one. And I explained about how playing in San Diego, that atmosphere is crazy. They feed off those fans. They feed off that energy. That stadium is right on top of you. Even watching on TV, you can see that. So they got to immerse themselves in postseason baseball right now. So the Dodgers have a 5-game set to figure it out. It can be over as fast as 3 games. So game 1, we need to see them come out, toss up a 0, and going from there. Steve, I don't know what you're talking about here, man. You've been saying some weird stuff, so I'm not even going to acknowledge you. I appreciate you being here, though. Steve put this one up here. They just played 162 games. How does one practice game make them any more prepared?
It's a fair point. I think for me, it's about the optics of it. You can't say you're going to have intense practices and focus on that and then come out and be a little more like messing around on the field instead of practicing. Like,
yeah,
I think if a lot of people saw like the throw to first base that I'm thinking of here, they would understand what I'm saying. It was like a 50-mile-per-hour lob throw over from second base to first base. And that's just something you wouldn't see happen in a game. And I just don't see the point of like practicing. And I do think the practices at this point are a little more important because you do have that 5 or 6 day layoff where you weren't playing major league games. So you do have to actually find ways to stay in baseball rhythm and keep your swing together and practice your skills, because taking a week off from playing baseball and then trying to jump right back into it is basically impossible.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the work behind the scenes is going to matter. That's why tomorrow is going to matter. It's their preparation that's going to absolutely matter here. And I have a question here from Nora that I got to ask you. She says, the playoffs are here, Blake. How are we feeling?
Despite my rant about their practice today, I still do feel pretty confident in the team. I think they have the talent, and I do want to separate. I don't think that this practice is going to be the reason they lose, and I don't think it's going to be the reason they win. It's more about what I saw to pass on, and you guys can draw the assumptions from that, whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be fair about what I saw, what was happening, and tell you. So I'm still pretty confident in the team overall. They're really talented. They're set up well to win with their pitching and their lineup at this point. They just need to actually go out there and play.
Now, I really want to know, I really wish I had a poll thing I can do for live chat here. Is everybody's angst coming from past postseasons, or is it just this build up here with seeing the Padres and what they're doing now? I think mine has everything to do with what's happened in the last 2 National League Division Series rounds. I think everything has to deal with me for there, because I think this Dodgers team is talented enough to win. Just because look at them as a whole. They've got a unit, they can take it, but it has everything to do with me. Yeah, PTSD for sure. Man, you guys make me upset. You guys bring the fan out of me in postseason time. I'm going to rely on Blake for a lot of analysis here,
I will say my watching them and my little rant about their practice was a little more the fan side of me coming out, I guess. I do want to be objective with what I saw and share the facts of what was there.
No, but you did. You did exactly that.
At the same time, the fan side of me wants to see more from them. I want to see more intensity, finding ways to increase that, playing like you're going to play in a game. Well, the more unbiased media side of me does say it probably isn't going to affect too much. Maybe there was a reason that they were doing that. It's VMR put up here, or it was before that. All I care about is the optics. No, not necessarily, but I do think they are a little more important after what happened the last 2 postseasons, and especially how is this going to look if you come out flat this postseason too. So it is a bit about it.
That's a big snowball conversation, buddy.
There's if they came out and they were having a really hard practice and they lost, it's different than saying them losing and having the soft practices before. I do think there's a difference there. So I don't know. Like I said, everyone can draw their own conclusions of what to make of it. I'm just sharing what I saw them. We have some video up there so you can see the kind of intensity and stuff that was going on. It's just, yeah.
For sure. All right. Yeah, there's one more. So see how it is. See the ramp up there. I believe they'll be ready to play. That's just, I'm relying on that. That's not copium. That's not hopium. That's just, I believe that Ohtani's setting the tone. Ohtani's a difference maker. He's right at the top of the lineup here. He's not Freddie Freeman. He's not Mookie Betts. He's Shohei Ohtani. And just in that alone, we've seen him right out the gate. He's not letting the game settle in or having to settle into the game. He's taking it right away. So I believe it's a difference maker there. Everybody's going to have to get on his speed. And I think that's going to be the difference maker for sure, as we've seen it. It's not a big take. That's just from what I believe. Jonathan Montgomery says Allen Iverson is triggered for sure. Blake, you said this. You're practice, talking about practice.
Yeah, I mean, I did the was it Jim Mora playoffs thing. Yeah, I posted that one. Yeah, I mean, I do think practice is less important for major league players than it is for college or high school players or any other levels. But it's still after what's happened the last 2 years, how much you've hyped it up, I just wanted to see a little more come from it. And I know rationally it's really hard, if not impossible, to simulate that feel. The stuff with the coaches playing out there. It's
I got you, man. I got you. It's about what the front office has done, the standards they've set, the money they've devoted here, coming out and saying, oh yeah, it's all different. It's all different. The intensity's ramped up. And then the first impression of that is what you see today. So I got you. All right, we can. Yeah, we'll leave it right there. That's what we're doing. We're gonna roll
we'll
right
get
into
Matt's take soon too, because Matt was there, so we'll see his
Matt's
side of it as well.
Hey, I wanted him on here, guys. Real quick though, but on Saturday, just a little preview before we do it. We're gonna have I think we're gonna try to get 2 shows in. Something in the morning. I'm gonna be up for. We're gonna talk the roster and everything, and then in the afternoon, if there's enough people that want to get something rolling there, before I head, I've got some commitments that night. If we want to do a live show sometime in the afternoon, just let me know. We'll hop on here if we can and chat ball probably early afternoon. See if we can get like some primer before game 1. We'll kind of give everybody a platform here. Give us your concerns, give us your thoughts, your outlook. What are you feeling on Saturday once you wake up? But we'll keep you posted on that. John, we don't know yet. We don't know yet, bro. But if you've got questions, this is the time. Toss those in here. Remember, all caps question. Put that thing right afterwards. Blake and I'll sift through a bunch of them. Shout out to the 1,900 in here across all social media. As always, we definitely appreciate you joining a Scott and Blake show. I love these, man. We just get to come in here and hang out. Somebody said, remember the playback days? I don't miss those things. Those things were grueling. Grueling. Anything you got?
Yeah,
Yep.
I want to address this. Don't give Scott credit for being right. Never do that. So I'm taking this down now because we don't want to do that.
Give him his moment. Give him his moment. It's not just what I said. It's not a big take to have, but it's the conversation we had. People who have been watching. The first thing in my mind when talking about Ohtani and seeing the World Baseball Classic was the emotion that he had playing with that. He got a taste of the postseason. And what has he done every single time a moment's had to happen? He showed the ability to step up to it. Not step up to the plate, step up to the moment, step up to everything. Historic season. And his first season with the Dodgers, barreling towards the playoffs. And it's just, when else are you going to see this? So how can I bet against the guy? How can you bet against someone who's not like cut from the same cloth from the team that we currently have seen for a few years? He's carried them at different times. He plays with a different heartbeat, plays with a different sense of the game. He plays around superstars, but he just sees things differently. He sees things differently, and it elevates everybody. And for a certain thing, I think it, fuels a little fire. It fuels Mookie Betts. It fuels Freddie Freeman. I know we need to see Freddie Freeman and what he's going to be able to do now, but hopefully it fuels Mookie Betts. Them pitching around him, to the question that we got earlier about pitching around Shohei Ohtani. What's it going to do? Like, do they make a change? No, because Mookie Betts multiple times has stepped up batting behind Shohei Ohtani when they want to pitch around him. So this is a spot where Ohtani's different. And Steven, it's not a crazy thing to say that Ohtani's going to be the one, because Mookie Betts even said it. He's playing alongside to see how far Ohtani can take him, right? Like paraphrasing what he said, essentially, like Mookie Betts knows, the team knows Ohtani's going to be the one to carry that wagon for sure. And look at his production. Mookie said that like 2 months ago, right? A long time ago, he had that quote. And look how it played out.
Yeah, I think his quote was something along the lines of, "We're here to support Ohtani," or something like that. So, yeah, man, there's truth to that.
Yeah, and we got a super chat here. An unfortunate one. Any insight on what's going on with Fernando Valenzuela?
So the report was that he is away because he's sick, and then I think the Dodgers did acknowledge that. Nothing more has come out about that. He prefers to keep it private. His family wants to keep it private, so we don't really know much about it. We're not going to speculate or anything like that, and we will go with Fernando's wishes of keeping it private at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything gets, not reported, if anything is out there, we probably won't report it. Like, this is, Fernando, legend of the game. Wishes are to keep things really private. So we're gonna keep it that way. Best wishes to him. Love him a bunch. Love him a bunch. All right. Give me your first question here, Blake. Let's get something good. We're gonna keep it fairly brief on the questions tonight, so we're gonna pick the best ones. And if I tell that to Blake, he's gonna pick something hilarious. Perspective on Dodger Stadium South closing ticket sales for the boys in blue. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I understand the pettiness, and I totally get that. Like, it's just like for fans, it's petty, but you can just get them on the secondary market.
I do believe the Dodgers did the same thing, and they're not selling to Padre fans. So I think most teams end up doing that when they're playing a local playoff game, because it does affect the secondary market. Yeah, like it's more fun when it's all of your fans there. Like, I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, people saying it's soft, but who cares? For sure. I mean, they could do whatever they want. It's their stadium. They can for sure do it. Do I care? Nope. Go in there. Dodgers just have to take care of business. Home field advantage in baseball. How much does that happen? Like the Padres went in, or the Diamondbacks went into Citizens Bank last year and took care of business. Like, you think they cared about home field? Absolutely not. So you can see, seen in baseball, home field mean absolutely nothing. So it's just the optics. Some people talk about optics tonight. That's all that matters to it. And it doesn't matter.
Optics were pretty important. They helped Kiké.
Yes. He's cooking. You're cooking tonight on these, man. All right. John, Dodgers fans need to show the intensity on Saturday and Sunday. Damn right, John. Because if they don't, the moniker with Dodger fans, people are going to show. If I see fans just in droves, chat, how mad will you be? On a 1 to 10, you just see fans like they do the pan, like a panning around the stadium, and we got the prime time slot, late night East Coast. You're going to have to tune in late to watch this game, and you look around and you see empty spots in the stadium. I'll be livid.
All right. This one is, well, I'm going to go with this one. Ederico's asked it like 5 times now, so this is the first time you asked it. Just throwing that out there. You don't got to keep posting it, everyone.
Ederico says, what is Blake's confidence rating after that inside scoop he spilled? It doesn't exactly inspire confidence.
I'm like, for scaling this to as confident as I can be in a playoff series, which is already limited, because even if they were playing the White Sox, I probably wouldn't be all that confident to begin with, just because we've seen the playoffs and what they are. Yeah. So on that scale of postseason confidence being the max it can be for that postseason, I'll go with like a 7.5 or an 8, which is still pretty good. Just, yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs, and the Padres are a really good team.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. This is a big question. This is a loaded one. Aiden says, how much do you think this postseason means to Roberts' position? Keep it brief. Don't do this. Don't do the thing where you got on your soapbox and talk to me about this one. Keep it brief, but what does it mean to him?
Oops. I clicked the wrong thing. So I think it depends on how they finish. If they get swept and Roberts makes some bad decisions, then probably gone, maybe gone. If they lose in 5 games and the offense just didn't perform, or like Michael Kopech blew the game in the 9th inning and they lost because of that, I don't think that's going to affect him all that much. I think Roberts' job is a lot safer than most fans will give him credit for having that job safety. So I think it would have to be a pretty embarrassing and bad playoff loss where he makes multiple bad decisions.
I just think of when you just went off on me that one day about that question.
Here, this question's for you then.
Oh, Kenneth, is Michael Grove on the roster? If he is on the roster, how will they use him? We don't know yet. And for the love of God, I hope he's not. Same thing with Joe Kelly. Daniel Hudson's in consideration, same thing. I think that they need, I know I'm not answering your question. How will they use him? Long reliever, multi-inning thing here, bridging a gap to the bullpen from the starter to the rest of the bullpen. If he's on the roster, that's how it'll be. But I couldn't think of anyone that I would not want to see more on the roster than like Joe Kelly. And then we're getting into like, Daniel Hudson. That's a conversation for a different time. But I need to see Benny Caps. I need to see Ben Kasparius on there. I would love to see it. His stuff is filthy. He's shown a good bit. Fans have taken a liking to him. Edgardo Enriquez. That's a name that I need to see on the roster. I really do. If Michael Grove's on there, it's I think I saw somebody say rubbish, but it's like, it's an issue. There will be a problem. We wake up on Saturday and that's a name that's on there. He might not be used. I understand that, but you need to use your best arms possible. It's an era of stuff plus. You're going to see, you got to get guys out there that are able to just completely go in, get strikeouts, big spots. I don't have the faith in Michael Grove like that. Don't care about like what his metrics look like on some things. We've seen him implode. I want to see Edgardo on there because Padres haven't seen him like that. I want to see Ben Kasparius just because we've seen him go multi. That's a name that if he's on there over a few of those I just listed, not going to be a thing. Can't happen.
A lot of people have asked about the roster. It's not official yet. They haven't posted anything. Usually comes out the day of the game in the morning, so probably around 9 a.m. on Saturday, something around then, plus or minus an hour or two. So probably when we're going to see it.
Ray says Agardo's filthy and has that dog in him. Yeah, you need that dog. That's what you need. You absolutely need that. Yep. All right. Pick two more, Blake.
I have a few more I want to get to, but some of them we can kind of run through.
Okay. Will says, for this NLDS against San Diego, would you rather a sweep, game 3 in San Diego, or Dodgers in 4 or 5 walk-off style? I want a sweep.
Sweeps are always fun. I think looking back when you're remembering, like, winning a game 5 is pretty special, whereas a sweep, you just kind of like, yeah, it was a sweep. Nothing too memorable happened, but I know a lot of people would rather just get it over with early. So
Sweep.
Yeah.
Sweep would totally matter. Would be way, yeah. People say just win. I think a sweep just for where the team is at. Extra rest.
But do you think it goes to game 5? Just
say it's over in 4.
Okay. I think I picked 5 yesterday or the day before or whatever it was when I was last on.
I think 4.
My reasoning for that was just vibes based because they were eliminated on my birthday last year. So I said they're going to advance on my birthday this year. So game 5 to LA.
And then a couple years ago, I had you over at the house for game 1.
And they won. That was the Padre year.
Yep.
And then they lost the next 3.
And they lost the next 3.
But I got that win.
I was off that day, but I was going to say, recreate it and keep it rolling.
There's 2 more good ones here that we should get to.
All right. TQT, what's up, man? It's good to have you as always. Padres are weaker versus lefties. Merrill, Arias, Cronenworth, and even Tatis and Bogarts are weaker versus lefties. Any chance Robleski is rostered due to this? He had he's been pretty solid in his last 2 outings, I believe. Like they're using him in that, back end multi-inning role. Like what is, if anything, do you see them like him being a guy that's on the roster potentially? I don't have him on mine.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're going with their best 9 relievers or whatever that they have there. I've thrown out my predictions for the relievers. I have them here listed. I can throw it down real quick again. Kopech, Treinen, Phillips, Brazier, Vesia, Banda, Enriquez, Hudson, Kelly. And I know the last 2 names aren't what anyone wants to hear. I would put Brazier over them personally, but I just feel like they're not going to do that. Just knowing how the Dodgers are, you don't really need a long reliever in a 5-game series. So that's just how I see it playing out.
Yeah. People are saying they need more lefties. Do they need more lefties? Just get outs. I don't care.
They went the whole season talking about how Brazier is really good at getting lefties out and Kopech can get lefties out.
Yeah.
And Phillips could before he couldn't. So, that's how it goes.
Chad, just update you. No, I have not received the Hello Kitty thing for my daughter from Blake yet. We haven't coordinated on a time. Kenny's saying to hold the lightsaber up to the Hello Kitty. Guilt trip me into this. I know for a fact you have a lightsaber under your desk hidden for protection purposes.
I don't have a lightsaber in my office. Oh wait, I do. Never mind. But it's one like a statue thing is holding. So,
no, I know for a fact. Joel says he doesn't trust Alex Vesia. I'm just going to entertain this for the moment and want to know why.
He is up for MLB All Pro, whatever it is, all MLB team.
Like he's cooked, man. Like if you're talking about the past, sure, whatever. Like then I could just say that, bring that up every single time I talked about like anybody. I've seen him in the past be terrible. Like I've seen, you've seen everybody give up a walk-off or a big thing. Kenneth says, sorry to ask that question about Grove. Don't worry about it, man. It's something that's like a possibility to have. Like if it's a possibility, we'll talk about it, but we're talking clearly. What it does is it opens up a conversation to names that might be on the fringe, might be on the bubble that we believe should be in there. and that if there's somebody that makes it above them, like Joe Kelly, Daniel Hudson, and then names like Edgardo Henriquez and Ben Casparius are left off, I want to know why. So it's definitely a good question. Don't be shy from ever asking a question in chat. Like if it's something that we think is worth the conversation, we're 100% going to put it up there for sure. So don't be afraid to ask any question.
Would you take Grove over Hudson or Kelly? Because I know you said you don't want any of them.
No, I wouldn't take Grove. I don't like what Michael Grove brings. And if they're going to bring somebody for multi-inning stuff, like I'd rather use like Landon Knack, Casparius here. Like those are two guys I would prefer to use over Michael Grove. Yeah.
All right. Throw this one up. Last baseball one here we'll go with for tonight.
Do you have any surprises? There just doesn't feel like a lot of surprise guys, man.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a surprise on their roster. I think the most surprising possibility would be like Casparius over Daniel Hudson or Joe Kelly, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I would be surprised if it does. Could happen if they want an extra like length reliever out of their bullpen. I don't really see anything too surprising coming on the roster.
Yeah, and like a hot take isn't like Edgardo. Like I think that's someone that like is like somebody though. I think he makes the team. Like I think he makes that final roster there. Someone says Outman, don't do this here, please.
I don't think Outman has a chance to be on the roster.
Yeah. If anything, it's going to come with the pitching. I think their position players are pretty set, which is a very cool thing to have happen. The fact that we feel confident with the lineup that they're going to be able to trot out there is think about this, guys. Like think about months ago where it was just you had to figure out, what was Gavin Lux? Like, is James Outman figuring it out? All these other random, these platoon guys that hadn't figured it out yet. Kiké, all this stuff. So it feels like a totally different season. That's why that roller coaster thought is just a unbelievable thing to think about. But as always, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to keep tabs here Saturday morning. I know we're going to have some stuff up. Hopefully we do a live. We'll see you all there, but we'll keep you posted. We'll toss some stuff up on Twitter. We'll keep you updated on social medias. But any last minute super chats, we'll get to them before, because you guys just troll us with both of those every single time. But I'm going to walk it off with that. Blake, any final words here, man?
Yeah, sweet tea. That is the question that I'm answering here. Sweet tea over lemonade.
Sweet tea's good. I'm a big iced tea guy. You got chat might roast me for this, guys. You know it was really good? Oreo flavored Coke. Diet Coke Zero.
I tried the Oreo cookie.
Banging.
The Coke ones. I did not like them. I like Coke. I like Oreos. Good. I didn't like those. I will say
one. Go ahead.
I was going to say the pumpkin horchata I had today. I posted on Twitter. I saw some people talking about it. That was great.
Yeah, people are flaming. Yeah, I bought one. I'll have to see. You know me with pumpkin spice anything. I'm a whore for those. But yeah, Oreo flavored DC, awesome. I had one. Yeah, people say it's nutty. I had one and I went and bought it. Like came out with 2 things to the little cans. I know, call me crazy. Roast me.
It doesn't sound good.
Don't like cheese, like Oreo flavored Coke. Yeah, roast me.
I feel like that's one of the things that's gonna like have a lot of different opinions. You're either gonna be in the I love it camp or the I hate it camp, and there's like no in between.
It's just like a novelty thing. That's all.
I did hear if you put vanilla ice cream in it and made a float that it's really good. So I would try it that way. I don't think I'd just drink it straight up.
Sounds good to me. I like it. All right, guys, we're going to head out of here. We appreciate you. Enjoy the day off. No ball. If you panic about it, I'm with you. I need some playoff ball. We got a little taste. I need some more. But, geez, I love the Oreo Coke. Charlie. Yep. Dialed in. Kenneth, thank you so much. Everybody asking questions, keeping chat fired up. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait.
Thank you.
Real quick, is drinking water with a straw not acceptable?
I got a straw.
Like,
what's the problem?
I mean, this is a filtered bottle, so like the straw has a filter at the bottom there. I don't like tap water at all. Can't stand it, so have to find other ways. But yeah, straw. It's easier.
Nobody's doing that anymore. I know people aren't drinking tap water anymore. You guys are interrupting my send-off with this stuff. I appreciate it. I love you, chat. You guys are the best. You make my night. Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. We will see you soon. As always, my name is Scott Geirman. This is Blake Williams. We'll see you soon. Go Dodgers.